Shannon, do you think Vegas is still underrating Miami?
No, it's the number 1 seed versus a play-in 8 seed that needed 2 games to even reach the playoffs. That's just the way it works. I don't really know what you expected. You thought it was going to be even money? A number 1 seed that's really just run through the playoffs on their side of it, as opposed to a team that needed the play-in game, lost the first play-in game, and was 3 minutes away from losing their second play-in game and not reaching it and needing 7 games to get to the finals. No, Skip, I think they betting it. They bet that they wagered it correctly. Now, the Nuggets are the second biggest favorite in the last 20 years. You'd have to go back to 2018 Warriors, and we know what happened there. They was minus 175 to plus 688. And the Nuggets seem to be going off right now at minus 500 to plus 333. And so, I mean, it seems to be the Nuggets are 4-1 plus 200. So basically, all the money, if you want to win some money, is on the Nuggets. But the Heat, look, Skip, it's not an accident that they're here. We understand that they're a good team. But Vegas is looking at it like saying, hold on. We understand that, and we're going to give them credit. It's not like they made them underdogs like the Warriors and the Cavaliers, Skip. But I just think when you look at it, you look at Nikola Jokic as a 2-time MVP. You look at Jamal Murray, who's he had the first series where he shot 50, 40, 90. And averaged 30 points in a playoff series. So now, Skip, I don't really think they're not devaluing or undervaluing. They're just looking at it saying, this is the number 1 seed. They've been pretty much the number 1 seed in the West for the entirety of the season. The Heat had to fight, scratch, and claw to make their way into the playoffs. And so I think the money is laid where it should be. I don't think they're devaluing or undervaluing anything about the Heat. They're just looking at it like Vegas does. It says, hey, this is the 1 seed, clearly. This is the 8 seed. Although they made it to the finals, we think the Nuggets are the better team.
Okay. And I am laughing out loud at the way Vegas and everybody else, including you, continue to underestimate and undervalue, if not devalue, the Miami Heat. Oh, they're just a cute little Cinderella story. They're like a March Madness team gone pro. This will end. They're about to be exposed. They're going to be turned back into pumpkins by those Nuggets. Blah, 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 blah. I am loving this because it's all wrong. They are still being underestimated, even though, help me out, did I just dream this? Did I imagine this? I think the Heat eliminated the Milwaukee Bucks in 5 games. I think Drew Holiday said, I don't care who was trying to defend Jimmy buckets or playoff Jimmy. He said LeBron could have tried, Michael Jordan in his prime could have tried, nobody could have stopped playoff Jimmy against Drew Holiday and the Bucks, right?
Yes.
Okay, then they just sort of quietly ho-hum the crazy hot New York Knicks, the team on the verge, team on the rise, the hottest team in basketball. They just sort of ho-hum them and nobody really noticed, right?
Yep.
And then all they just did in the previous series was, would you believe that the Miami Heat went to Boston and won 3 games at Boston out of 7, including Game 7? They won 3 times at Boston.
Is that impressive? When you said Orlando did that, they came to Boston and won 2 games.
That should have been your tip.
Yeah.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, they were prohibitively favored.
They were.
The Celtics were favored just the way this is. The numbers are about the same. In fact, I averaged out the home point spreads of the 4 games, Miami at Boston, and they averaged out to an 8.5-point favorite at home. Guess what? Here we go again. Although this opened at 7.5, and it's already been bet up to 8.5 because nobody really believes in the Heat. And I told you that one reason you could devalue the Heat right now is that I was severely disappointed in playoff Jimmy because he wasn't playoff Jimmy over really the last 5 games. He had the one flourish at the end of Game 6 that fell a 1/10 of a second short thanks to Derek White. And he was hit and miss, but more miss in Game 7 because he missed 16 shots, which was more than any single player on Boston missed. 16 shots. Jaylen Brown missed 15, but Jimmy Buckets missed 16 shots.
Right.
He scored 28 points on 28 shots.
Yeah.
That wasn't very impressive. So I look at his stats over the last 5 games. Jimmy Butler from the floor shot 39%. From 3 shot 33%. Those are not playoff Jimmy type numbers.
Okay.
Obviously, they got saved by this guy named Caleb Martin, another undrafted guy. They play 4 in their rotation, and people dismiss them because they got 4 undrafted players from nowhere. But the point is, I thought Boston did not a good job. I thought they did an all-time great job on Jimmy Butler. They did it with Jason Tatum, who's taller and longer than Jimmy Butler. And I didn't like the way Jason played on offense for much of this season, but I loved the way he played on defense because he took the challenge on Jimmy Butler and he just suffocated him.
Well, maybe that's why his offense suffered.
Okay, you could argue that he was focused so hard and he's expending so much energy on the other end that you just run out of three-point gas on your end of the floor. Okay, and then it was Al Horford on him. Then it was Derek White on him. It was just a lot of very tough, skilled, savvy, long defenders who made it very difficult on him. But very quietly, under the radar, this kid, Caleb Martin, came from nowhere. I banged the table going into Game 7. If he has a good game in Game 7, he should be the MVP, and I think you agreed
he should have
been the MVP. He has emerged to me as a star, but Vegas is not valuing him as a star. And yet, I'm just going to remind everybody, I'm going to quickly show you what he did to Boston. This is Game 7 at Boston Garden with leprechauns lurking, leprechauns closing out every three-point shot. And here's what Caleb Martin did to the Celtics that Vegas has no use for. Well, that'll work. Huh. Oh, yeah. Back up and under. Oh, yeah. Remember this? The little tip in that got him going. Then he goes again. And he's ripping three-point shots. And he's got that little extra push at the end of his three-point shot. Man, he is deadly. On that mid-range games, he beats people to the rim like crazy. He's going to beat Joker to the rim a lot. He's starting to look like Kawhi Leonard on these turnarounds. Is that not unguardable?
Yeah, he shot the ball great. I think he started 11 or 15. I don't know what he ended with, but I know he got off to a great start.
Okay. For the playoffs, the guy you just see make that three-point shot is 44% from 3 for the whole playoff run. Wow. They played 18 playoff games. He shot 44%. Is he legit or is he fool's gold? Is he just an aberration? Is he a mirage? I think not. I think he's legit. It's why they're legit, because now they have 3 stars to me that you can count on in big games, including that one.
I thought you was out on Bam. Are you counting Bam as a star?
Bam's a star for this reason. He plays defense as furiously as anybody in this league plays defense. He sweats like crazy because he gives you every last drop of his sweat. You want to talk about needing to hydrate in timeouts. This guy needs to hydrate because he's leaving it all, literally all of his liquid is out on the floor.
Skip,
okay?
you said the valuation. You look at what they did in the first round to Milwaukee, beat them in 5. They beat the Knicks in 6. They beat the Celtics in 7. Yes, they've played great through the playoffs, but what about the sustainability of all regular season? What the Nuggets were able to do? You said going into it, they've been pretty much the best team in the West, basically from start to finish. Okay. They haven't swayed. They have the guy that was a 2-time MVP that finished second this year in the MVP running. Jamal Murray has come back. He's fully healthy. He's showing everyone, I'm not just a bubble player. Yep. They tried to put that title on him and said, man, guys were playing strange. He's one of those guys. And so now, since he's had that injury, he's had a full year, basically 2 years to recover in between. Skip, he's playing out of his mind. So when you look at it, you look at Joker and you look at Murray versus the Heat and their 2 best players is not comparable. Now, if you're going to tell me Gabe Vincent, Caleb Martin, guys that have played Kyle Lowry, if they're going to still play that way.
By the way, Duncan Robinson for the whole playoff run is shooting 45% from 3.
Yes.
That's Steph-like, right?
Yeah, but we know he's a good.
He can do that.
Yeah, he's streaky now. He get hot and cold. Because remember, Skip, for the Lion part of the season, he didn't play much. Okay. He had played completely out of the rotation. So basically, if you're saying their 2 best players, let's just say it's Bam and Jimmy, and you got Yoke and you got Murray. So now you're asking Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, KCP, Bruce Brown. Those are your top 4 guys, and Jeff Green. To somehow not be outplayed by Caleb Martin, Gabe Vincent, Duncan Robinson.
Okay. So there's one other big X factor looming here, and he could be the hero of this series because his last name is Herro, as in Tyler. We're going to talk about this in a few minutes, but they played obviously twice. Eastern versus Western Conference in the regular season. Denver won both those games. But in the first game, which was at Denver, would you believe that Tyler Herro in the second half of that game, a very close game that went to the wire, scored 24 in the second half? Tyler Herro averaged 20 points a game for this Heat team. And it's stunning to me what they've done through 3 rounds of the playoffs with him breaking his hand in game 1 of the Milwaukee series. Broke his right hand, his shooting hand.
Right.
He is, they say, reportedly, our man Chris Haynes reported this on TNT, on course to come back, potentially for game 1, but definitely for the first game back in Miami, game 3, which is what they're targeting. But they left it open that he could be available maybe for game 1. My point is, this is 20 points a game. This is a guy who yells, "I'm a bucket," because he can be a bucket. This is a guy who during the regular season, boy, he put up some big numbers because he led the whole league in free throw shooting at 93%. You don't think that's a valuable weapon that you could have, that you throw into the mix, and all of a sudden you're saying, wait a second, maybe they have 4 stars on the floor.
But most of the time, people, what they do, they attack him. Because like you said, Yoke doesn't play any defense. He plays little to none, even less than Yoke.
That is correct.
So that's the way you have to attack him. You have to attack Duncan Robinson because he's a liability on the defensive end.
But they discovered in Game 6 that they could fall back into
2-3 zone.
To a 2-3. I guess it's a 2-3. It looked like a good matchup zone. It's a matchup zone. And they played the heck out of it. They played it smart. They played it hard. It wasn't like they took it as, oh, this is our pit stop, rest stop, where we can just take it easy. They played hard, and it started looking much better than their man defense looked.
Well, I think the thing is, Skip, is that what the Celtics failed to do is they failed to put somebody in there that was unafraid to take a shot from 15 and can also make plays. Robert Williams pose you no threat at the free throw line. Al Horford is not looking to shoot that shot. He's more of a rebound the ball, put it back, and a three-point shot. Now you put Yoke in that spot, or you put Aaron Gordon in that spot, or let's just say for the sake of argument, you put Michael Porter Jr. at the free throw line spot. He can turn, catch, and shoot. He can also pass to the corners and make plays for others. But that's probably going to start being Yoke. Now what you do when you put him there, because we know there are not very many passers that have ever played the game that's better than he is.
Okay, I will give you that. But if we're talking strategy, help me out here.
Okay.
Would you take Pat Riley / Eric Spoelstra or a Michael Malone? Who would you take? I mean,
obviously the coaching leans towards the Miami Heat, but I'm taking Yoke.
As coach on the floor?
Yeah, I'm taking Yoke.
Okay.
Because what's your answer for him?
Well, I got lots of answers when he goes and tries to play defense because, as Rui Hachimura said in his stand-up interview with ESPN at halftime in Game 2 in Denver, they don't have a rim protector. Well, they just don't. Well, you want to talk about basket attackers? I got like 8 of them. They all love to attack. Even Bam loves to attack. They are going to be attacking the rim like crazy on the lack of rim protector. Well,
you know, Bam's going to miss about half of those shots that he attacked the rim on.
You could be right.
The other guys, now, they will attack the rim. But I think the thing is that I think KCP is a better defender than some of those guys that in Boston. I think Bruce Brown is a better defender. I think Aaron Gordon is a better defender.
Yeah,
now,
Michael, I don't think that. Listen, Derek White made second-team all-defense, so you cannot underestimate
But here's the thing, though, Skip. You talk about a guy that's 6'3", trying to play defense on a guy that's 6'7". Aaron Gordon is a big body at 6'8", playing defense. KCP is a 6'4.5", 6'5" guy playing defense on somebody. Bruce Brown, don't you like Bruce Brown? You say you love Bruce Brown's defense.
I do.
And he's a guy that can make timely shots. Because at the end of the day, it's going to come at some point in time. A game does come down to you making shots. And if you look at the Lakers series, every big shot that they needed to make inside of 2 minutes, they made it. Whether it was Aaron Gordon, whether it was Bruce Brown, or Joe with no time on the clock, and he throwing one of them Larry Bird shots up and he's swishing.
Okay. Help me out. How many of these Nuggets have been on this stage in their lifetimes?
None. KCP.
KCP has. He won a ring. I give you that. There's a guy named Kyle Lowry for the other team who's been there and done that, and he might be on his last legs at age 37, but it seems like every time he gets in the game in key moments, he makes some shot or makes some pass or some play where you say, wow, that was big time.
Yeah, well, he get in the game, he's looking to draw a charge. Somebody go run over him, he go,
Okay, I say he will cancel out Bruce Brown, and I have nothing but respect for Bruce Brown, but I say that cancels out.
Right.
So a lot of people think the Nuggets are one of the great offensive teams in the history of the game because they put up those kinds of numbers. So I look at their 15-game playoff numbers. So they've won or played 15 games. And they're pretty extraordinary because from the floor, they shot 49%. That's pretty great.
For a team, yeah.
Yeah, for a team. I'm talking about for a team.
Yeah.
Let's see. The Heat in the 18 playoff game shot 47%. Then I look at the Nuggets from three. They're 39% for their 15 games. As a team, that's tremendous. Heat 39% through 18 games. That's a cancel. Then free throw line. 82% for the Nuggets. That's very good for a team. That'll win a lot of playoff games. Except the Heat are 80%, so they're right on their tail. Then rebounds. No rebounds, no rings, said famously Pat Riley. And you say, well, the Nuggets, especially with Joker, he just plays volleyball on the offensive glass. He like tips it. He plays volleyball with it. It's like solitaire volleyball. Tip to myself, tip to myself, tip to myself, tip to myself, tip it in, right?
Yep.
Okay, I got that, except if I look at the total rebounds for these playoffs, for this playoff run, 15 games of Nuggets, they've averaged 44 rebounds a game. The Heat have averaged 41. So there are no slouches on the board. I'll give you that the Nuggets are a little better rebounding team, but not decisively better.
Right.
That they won't have a dominating edge on the glass.
Yeah, I just think the thing is, Skip, is that when it comes down to it, the question is that, and we're going to get into this a little later, you want Yoke, you trust Yoke, or you trust Jimmy Buckets? I mean, because you're in series and games like this, your big guns must show up. Now, we need the auxiliary pieces to also hold their weight, too. You need a KCP to do what he did. You need an Aaron Gordon skip in a game 4 to do what he did against the Lakers. Because for the first 3 games, he's pretty much had been a no-show.
Yeah.
He was the reason that they ended up going, that it was a sweep and not going maybe a gentleman's sweep because of the way he played, the big shots that he made, the rebound, and even the defense.
Okay.
So for me, I'm looking at it. I'm going to trust Michael Porter Jr., KCP, Bruce Brown, and Aaron Gordon over Caleb Martin, Vincent, Kyle Lowry, and Duncan Robinson. So it's 4-on-4. I'm gonna take my 4 over yours because you already know the big two who got the advantage. Jokic and Murray is better than Jimmy Buckets and Bam.
I don't think that will prove true in this series over time because I think Jimmy Butler is about to be way better against the Nuggets than he was against the Celtics because I don't think Aaron Gordon can bother him nearly as much as those 3 Boston defenders bother.
I think it can. I think because of the weight. I think he can lean on him a little bit more. Now, you're asking, so is Jimmy going to guard him on the other end? Because he's a big body that can post up.
Yeah. I just don't think he's as quick as Jason Tatum is or Derek White or even Al Horford. I think he is a little more plodding, and I think Jimmy will take advantage of that. And I think Jimmy also is classic through the regular season, pace himself. I've never seen a star pace himself the way Jimmy does through the regular season, which is why he didn't even make the All-Star team, but did make second team All-NBA. I think he's paced himself even through the first 3 rounds, but now he can see the finish line. Okay. Now you're going to get every ounce of Jimmy Butler where he won't save it. He'll just give you all he's got.
Right.
And we will talk more about this, but I also like the fact this team is on a cultural roll where they got unity and chemistry and momentum that they are bringing like a force field into Denver for game 1. Okay. So I like their chances of coming in hot versus a Denver, what's it been, 10 days now?
9 days.
9 days? Whew, feels like 10. And it's a long time to have to sit and watch when you've never been on this stage before.
Rested.
Okay? They'll be very rested. I don't even know if they'll be rusted. It's just a lot of time to sweat and think about, God, we're in the NBA Finals.
Yes.
And now we're the prohibitive favorite against an 8 seed. And we had Michael Malone yesterday whining and crying as he usually does. Well, he whines and cries about, give us our damn respect. Give Joker his damn respect. And then yesterday he's saying, Don't call them an 8 seed. That's not fair to us. They're not really an 8 seed. Look what they did to Milwaukee. Look what they did to Boston. Oh, please leave me alone. Don't bring me 8 seed. Don't put pressure on me, please.
Are they 8? They're 8 seed.
Yeah.
But like you said, this was the second time. This is the first time in a full season, non-strike year, that an 8 seed has reached the NBA finals. And they did it from the play-in. I mean, Chicago could have prevented all this from happening.
They could have. They almost did. You almost called it. And now they've called your bluff.
Now they, here they are.
Here they are. The heat is on.
Indeed. If the Heat win, it would be their 4th title in franchise history. And, of course, this would be Denver's 1st. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.